Today's international seminar on democracy, diversity, and change in India and Europe. It gives me immense pleasure and pride to welcome all of you to this one-day international seminar. We are very happy to share knowledge, but also to engage meaningful dialogue about the interactions of political, social, cultural change on both countries. Let's all actively engage, collaborate, and contribute to sharing the future of democracy in both the countries. I am very happy this seminar will not only be informative, but will inspire action that leads to meaningful change. So it is honor to me to invite Professor A. Narasimha Garu, today's president. Please come on to the dais. I welcome to Burk from Ethiopia to hand over the bouquet to Professor A. Narasimha Garu, Principal, College of Arts and Commerce. I welcome to today's seminar convener and head of the department, Political Science and Public Administration, Professor Peteti Premanandam Garu. Please come on to the dais. A warm welcome to Dr. Sheetal Sharma Garu, so Center for European Studies, Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. And I invite you, Betsy Avinja Baker from Kenya, to hand over the bouquet to Sheetal Sharma Garu. I welcome to today's guest of honor, Professor A. Rajendra Prasad Garu, former Vice Chancellor, Acharya Nagarjuna University, Guntur, and I invite Mark Kibor from Kenya to come and over the here to give a flower bouquet. Professor Rajendra Prasad Garu. I welcome today's keynote speaker, Professor K. Ravi Garu, retired professor, Department of Political Science and Public Administration. Please come on the dais. I welcome Bahiruj Nizuddin from Tajikistan to hand over the bouquet. So, last but not least, today's special guest, Sri T. Anil Kumar Garu, a Regional Employment Officer. Please come on to the dais. I invite Guru from Tajikistan to hand over the bouquet. So I request all the dignitaries and the students and the scholars, participants to stand.
This seminar, Democracy, Diversity and Change in India and Europe, is really the topic of current relevance. Democracy, our India is a democratic country. A largest democracy is, having in our country compared to any other country in the world. That is the greatness of our country. And at the time of independence, the Britishers were saying that how long this democracy will continue in India, how long this India will survive, let us wait and see. That was the statement given by the Britishers while giving the independence to our country. But we proved contrary to that. Our India is strong in all respects, and we are maintaining the great democracy values and systems in our country in all fields. So that is the greatness of our country. And in the days to come also, we are going to maintain the same type of spirit and continuity of this democracy. And our country is making plans to develop totally and to stand along with the developed nations by 2047. By the time 100 years, we will be completed getting independence, and the country at the national level, and also the people of rulers of the states in different states are making the roadmap for 2047 to keep our states and to keep our country at the national, developed nations in the world. That is how we are planning. And in this context, particularly our state is also using technology like anything, and the people need to adopt the technology for sustainability in the days to come, because the technology is playing a vital role. Today, you are all seeing, after having a cup of tea, the person is looking for QR code to make the payment of 5 rupees or 10 rupees. So that is the technology playing an important role, and everybody need to catch the technology, and everybody need to upgrade themselves to develop and make use of the technology for the development of the society at large. And diversity, our society is having diversities on several fields, on several aspects. When Britishers are, adopted the railways in our country, they told, so this Indian economy is full of religionism, casteism, all these things. How Brahmins will sit along with the Sudras, how Sudras will sit along with the Brahmins, how this train traveling made it possible and success so in the country. Like that, the statements are passed by the Britishers in those days. So diversity. But today, our constitution made it possible to be living in like a family, single family. So sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic is the preamble of our constitution. Ambedkar made our constitution in such a manner to live the Indian family like one family, and diversity, keeping aside all the diversified factors, and making the Indian society as one family. And like this, our constitution helped this unity in diversity. So that is how diversity is another important element that is included in the topic of this present day seminar. And also change.
Respected and distinguished chief guests, are the delegates, esteemed speakers, and the dear participants. It is with the immense pleasure and pride that I extend a warm welcome to your one-day international seminar, Democracy, Diversity, and the Change in India and Europe, organized by Department of Political Science and Public Administration, Andhra University, sponsored by European Union, Erasmus is a historical occasion that bring together scholars, participants, and policy makers from across in the world to deliberate on the issues of the significance of the democratic system in India and Europe. One of the India's oldest university, Andhra University, is renowned worldwide for the providing high quality education. Andhra University started. Is a very vision person, or the intellectual person is a very most of the brilliant. The first vice chancellor is a CRIT, is a brilliant visionary person of the university in the development utilizations of the CRIT. It is a pride among the movement for the Risika Padma Professor Maudpudi Venkatarangaya Garu is the first principal of Arts and Science courses in the Andhra University. Maudpudi Venkatarangaya, our department professor, our department intellectual person, most important person of this university, first principal. First Arts and Science College started by the Andhra University. Is a first principal of our department professor. You are delighted to note that the visionary leader of Andhra Pradesh, Chief Minister, is a place to speak at the international seminar on the democracy, diversity, and changes in India and Europe. Both India and Europe represented a unique experience in the democratic governance is important role. Governance is important approach, shaped by the diversity, historian, culture, languages, or linguistic, or the sociological changes of India in the world largest democracy in India. It is a very, very important of the largest democracy in India. It is a landmark of the great culture, linguistics, and religious diversity. It is the most of the democratic journey of the complex marks by effort of the ensure equal representation of all the communities while in navigating historical dimension of the system, environment of the system introduced by the in Indian continuation through the modernized in the commitment to the democratic values, most adapt of the challenges proposed by the rising populism or the inequality, regional or the disparities important role of the political system, political development.
Thank you, sir, for the invitation. And at the outset, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Sheetal Sharma, who had traveled all the way from Delhi to be here amidst us in this international seminar. And also dignitaries on the dais, President of the Day, Professor Nagaru, who had guided me invaluably in submitting my PhD thesis, and Professor A. Rajan Sargaru, former VC, ANU Guntur, then Professor Ravi Garu, who was previously here, and Premanandam sir, my guide, who supported me all the way in finishing my work. In fact, the topic is very apt because I worked on SAC and EU and submitted the thesis recently. And my co-alumni, Dr. Sheetal Sharma, who was also from School of Home Sciences from JNU. And in fact, I'd like to share a few thoughts of mine, which I presented in my thesis as well. The very idea, India, you know much about India, nothing much to talk about it. But when it comes to European Indians, it's a very interesting phenomenon. You're all aware that both the world wars have crushed Europe since they started from there. Then again, when you look at the idea of being Europe, which is a very significant step for making the European Union what it is present today. It is one of the most successful regional cooperation bodies. And started with a phenomenon called goods, then services, then the people. The integration happened in such a way. It is famously called as spillover effect. In the theory of political science, we talk of this. One actor influencing the other. So that integration had led to a seamless integration where the transformation happened in such an effective way. There's also a few thought processes that have come in the process. Which
I have somewhere another 5-7 minutes. Now, democracy is just like this room. Everybody is parishan, no escape. Just exactly what I was thinking, sir. Anilji, exactly, democracy is a trap. You will say a trap, man? Yes, of course, it's a trap. The trap that we laid here for you since last 1 month. But this trap is different kind of a trap that I'm talking to. Everybody is suffocating in democracy to a certain extent, more or less. But everybody is interested also in democracy because everybody has a vested interest. And everybody wants to escape democracy, but there is only one rule, which is autocracy, where Suleiman Garu is standing. So there is a contract. If you leave the room, you will not have your certificate. So in 1970s, sir, you told some or 70 countries out of the world were democracies. Okay? So democracy was being suffocated in the wake of autocracies and in the wake of autocracies and dictators standing and holding the guard. But at that point of time, sir, nuclear weapons save democracy. You will say, Madam, what are you saying? I challenge it. But trust me, nuclear weapons came to save democracies because of the threat of nuclear war and deterrence. So to a certain extent, arms race to have nuclear weapons helped us that Russia, China, and all other countries did not overpower to a certain extent Somehow, like if light comes, we will survive in this room, in this trap. But what does this trap mean from a sociological perspective? This trap from sociological perspective means number one, T, transparency, R, representation, A, accountability, and B, participation. So this trap is what trap we laid down, but this trap is built on four fundamental principles of transparency, representativity, and participation. So what does democracy do? Democracy is like a thread we use to tie and bring diversity together. Democracy is a framework, a thread, which is used to tighten the diversity inequalities by giving you a kind of representation, ensuring each and everyone's participation. This one hanging in my neck makes me take an entry into any corridor. I'm the organizer, I have this power to go. Representation, participation, accountability, that what is happening, and a procedural system of transparency that, look, this is happening and this is what we are going to do. So what does this trap do? This trap guarantees life to you. Now, life may be a simple subject for you, that what do we mean by life? But life, again, from a sociological perspective, is four things. L for liberty, I for individualism, F for freedom, and E for equality. These are the fundamental four values which are guaranteed through constitutions in democracies. Autocracies will not let you lead your life. I want to break free from this trap. Guruji, you will not let me break. Unless I do my duty and earn my lunch today. You said you have to engage the audience. I'm trying my best. I hope. But my freedom will not curtail other freedoms. So coming back to this life, that this life is something which is the fundamental enjoyed principle that you feel here. We talk about some history in India, democracy over there, the Janmabhoomi of democracy and all this that you read in political science. But fortunately, unfortunately, I would say this, all these social sciences, the modern social sciences, economics, political science, sociology, philosophy, have their origin in Western continent, Europe. And Europe actually brought a change in the revolution in thinking. I do a small experiment, will ask everyone to participate, and you will see how this experiment changed the worldview. The societies were traditional for a long period of time, so there was no change. People were just surviving. The king was considered to be as the incarnation of God here, and you can't question the king, because questioning him is blasphemy, and you can't do blasphemy. So things continued for centuries, which is also called as Dark Ages of European society. One good idea of thinking is planted in your mind, and things change. Things change, the journey बहुत लंबा है, but let me concise that there was a change in worldview, and that worldview can be summarized into a change from subjectivity to objectivity. Now let's do an experiment for this. I will call out few words, and I want you to
these aspects already. And of course, good friend and wonderful human being and an academic to organize this seminar and many other programs in the department. So coming to the seminar and the topic, firstly, I have to pay my gratitude and reverence to the great teachers of this department. Premanandam mentioned about the founder of the History, Economics and Politics and Administration Department, Venkatrange Garu. And there are several others who have done human service at this department, like Srinivasan Garu, who became the Director General of IAPA, Jagannathan Garu, who became the Deputy Director of IAPA, Delhi. And then R.B. Chandrasekhar, who is the founder of this Department of Political Science and Public Administration, who was the Vice Chancellor of AP University and the Director of Asian Studies of Distance Learning of the Commonwealth. Professor Basant Kumar Kagolwar was the vice chancellor of Harvard University and who was with the ASCII. So there are several extraordinarily great teachers, to all of whom I go ahead and pay my reverence. Having said that, I have divided my time very carefully. మీరు 15 నిమిషాలు భరించాలి నాకు. ఎక్కువ భరించమని అడగను. So 15 minutes is my target. First, let me focus on democracy. Then on change. You must know that the total period of democratic existence in this world, the democracies in the world is 450 years only, maybe a few years this way, that way. Right from the inception of human history, మనిషి యొక్క మనుగడ ప్రారంభించినప్పటి నుంచి డెమోక్రసీ అనేది 450 ఏళ్ళు ఉంది. Rest is monarchy, oligarchy, kingship, dictatorships, authoritarian systems, etc., etc. Luckily now we have about 68 democracies, good or bad, with all the out of 167 nations that we have or more. So that's the situation about democracy. Democracy will need a quality. And then you have a very big history, right? From Socrates and Athens in Greece. But the existence of Athens was also not short-lived. Sparta destroyed it in the Peloponnesian War, and democracy once for all went away from Europe for a very, very long time. Until later, after the Industrial Revolution, when the Hittite revolts and anti-industrial revolts happened in England, and there was this Magna Carta, where peasants and commoners demanded civil rights and rule of law. And then, of course, the French Revolution, which brought in the ideas of liberty and equality. Great thinkers like Rousseau and Locke and J.S. Mill and so many others. Condorcet, who in fact argued that democracy is the most rational system. Things like that. చాలా ఆలోచన పనులు రకరకాలుగా ఆలోచించి డెమోక్రసీ అనే దాన్ని అనే భావాన్ని పెంచారు. దే నర్చర్డ్ ఇట్ అండ్ ఇంప్రూవ్ ఇట్స్ మోడల్. So how does Europe fit into this? And Europe nurtured democracy, experimented with a vast variety of democratic practices. Switzerland lo direct democracy gani, recall gani, ilanti models gani, welfare statism that exists in Scandinavian countries gani, or the French model of presidential model. You have a constitution and you don't have it, essentially based on conventions and traditions. So, in our democracy,
I request all the participants now online session will start. After photo session, we start sitting here only.
The final foundation piece for a stable democracy will soon be put in place. I convey my thanks to organizers of this international seminar for providing an opportunity to critically think on an extremely relevant issue. And I want to finalize my speech with a famous quotation from Mahatma Gandhi. True democracy cannot be worked by the 20 men sitting at the center. It has to be worked from every village, from the people of every village. Thank you very much for the seminar. I hope due to these technical problems, you could hear me and this speech was interesting. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, madam. Very your and your time from Georgia. So we are very delighted to hear your messages on the international seminar on democracy and diversity change in India and Europe. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay.